Welcome to 2025 with Feel Better with Lauren. I'm Lauren. We're going to just do a nice, easy one to get your first New Year's resolution off and running. Welcome to the first video of 2025. If you're just joining us, today's going to be a real nice and easy one just to get your resolution started off well. We'll sit at the back of your mat. I recommend you get a mat. Otherwise, you can just have a space or a bit of carpet. If you can sit cross-legged, you're already off to a great start. So sit at the back of the space that you've created. We're going to breathe in through our nose and get every cavity filled up in our body, and then we're going to breathe all that air out through our mouth. We'll do that 3 times, and we'll do this pretty much every time. After that, we'll do what's called ujjayi breathing, which is breathing in and out through your nose. It's like you're fogging up a mirror with your mouth closed, and you have this restrained breathing in the back of your throat. You keep on breathing through your nose the whole way through. Nice and slow, about 3 seconds in, or 3 to 5 seconds in, and 3 to 5 seconds out. And we use that breathing to sort of expand our body with an inhale, and then with that space that we've created, we're able to sort of relax into that space. So, starting off the back, cross-legged, or whatever is comfortable for you, in through your nose, and all the way out through your mouth. In through your nose, and all the way out through your mouth, and in through your nose, and all the way out through your mouth. Now, sitting cross-legged at the back here, just sort of feel where your body's touching the ground. Feel if you're a little lopsided. Do a little bit of moving around with your body to check in with everything. And you'll find sometimes a little bit sort of restrains you, a little bit is tight. Let your neck go around, move your shoulders. Just sort of get in touch with your body if you're not used to doing this as well. After you've got that, let's just find a little bit of time to sit and relax comfortably here, and just keep breathing in and out through your nose. Let everything sort of calm down and relax. And then on the next inhale, and put your hands as high as you can above your head. Let your spine expand, and then as you exhale, fall forward, and just see how far you can touch in front of you. And as you breathe in, you'll find that you maybe create a little bit of space, and as you breathe out, you're able to fall a little bit further in front of you. And you're hinging at your hips, and you're falling over top. And then on your inhale, sit up again and just see how that feels. Cross your legs around the other way, and we're going to do the same thing on this side. So again, sitting there relaxed, and then as you inhale, your hands as high as they can, your spine expands, and you hinge at your hips and sort of push your chest forward and let your body fall in front of you. And each exhale out, you might find that you can fall a little bit more. And as always, we're not trying to go as far as I can, or more or less. You're just trying to find that spot, what I call your edge, where you're just hitting to the point where there's a little bit of discomfort, but nothing painful, that you can relax into that. And then on your next inhale, sit up, and everything's moving a little bit slower. Now, because we're almost here, we're going to go into a butterfly pose and put your feet flat together. Now, the closer you put your heels to your hips, the more intense the stretch is. The further away, the less intense it is. Again, we're not doing it. We're not doing anything for the way I want to do it. We're doing it for the way that you want to do it. So I put my hips relatively, well, my heels are that close. I can hold onto my feet. I want to keep my back as straight as I can. And I'm going to inhale and just fall forward a little bit. And as you can see, I'm not going far forward, but I'm getting a good, nice, intense stretch on my hips. Things are opening up. I've hinged at my hips. I've pushed forward. Now inhale, sit up, and this time we're going to actually put your feet a lot further away from you. Your feet, the slats of your feet still touching each other. And I want to see how low you can go by having your feet further away from your body. So hinge at your hips. You let your lead with your belly and your chest, and then fall over top with your shoulders and your head. And you'll feel a stretch on your hips. You'll feel your back just get a little stretch. And each inhale in, you create some space. And when you exhale, you find you've got a little bit of space that you can fall into. Now on your next inhale, slowly push yourself up. And now we're going to put our legs straight in front of us. And we're just going to do a forward fold, a seated forward fold. You may find that you're able to just fall and fold right onto your knees from here. For myself, I cannot do that. So I'm going to bend my legs a little bit so I can touch my feet or grab onto my feet. And I'm just going to shuffle back until it feels like a nice intense stretch, but nothing painful. And then I'm going to inhale again, stretch out my spine, and then fall forward. Now, I might notice as I'm doing this that I can sort of straighten my legs each time just a little bit more. And just relax. Let yourself fall forward. Feel a little bit of a stretch behind your legs, a little bit of a stretch up your back. Nothing hurts, but you can feel it move a little bit. On your next inhale, slowly push yourself up. Now cross your legs, and we'll just go over top of our knees. And you're going to go onto your feet, and we're going to stretch out the back of our feet. So on your toes, and you're going to kneel down. You're going to put your hips onto your heels, your hands in front of you, your fingers, your pointing finger facing the top of the mat, your fingers spread apart. Maybe there's a little bit of grip into the mat. And you're going to just get a relatively intense stretch on the back of your feet here. We're just going to breathe into that sort of stretch on the back of our feet, which for me is quite intense. Maybe not for you. As we have our hands here, you can see my hands, the eyes of my arms are facing forward. I'm now going to just slowly move with my breath and go forward over my wrists to get a stretch on my wrists, and then back onto my toes. Just I'm going to move with my breath. So I feel a nice intense stretch in my wrists, but nothing painful at all. And each time I go back, I get a little stretch on my feet. And now, because we're like this, I'm going to turn my hands around so that my fingers are facing my knees. The eyes of my elbows still facing forward. I'm still stretching the back of my feet here. And as I go back now, I stretch my wrists the other way. I can do a little side to side. And keep breathing. And then that's your last inhale in. Put your arms back the other way. Now, because we're right here, you can untuck your toes. Your big toes are quite close together. Your knees go apart. Again, we sit back onto our heels. And we're going to walk forward and try to get our forehead going towards the mat, our chest going towards the mat. And we're going to breathe into that and stretch at our hips, stretch at our lower back. Try to keep your hips on your heels. And then your last inhale in and up into what we call tabletop. So on our knees below our hips, our wrists below our shoulders, like a table. And we'll go into what's called a cat-cow pose. Cow is when your belly goes as far down as you can and your butt goes to the air and your head goes to the air. And cat is like a frightened cat, where your shoulder blades push apart and your tailbone tucks underneath you. And then when you inhale, you go back to cow. And then exhale to cat. Push everything away. Separate your shoulder blades. Inhale to cow. Tuck your tailbone underneath for cat. This is all moving with your breath. You're all breathing in and out with your nose. And one last time, inhale. Your belly drops as far as it can. Your butt goes to the air. Exhale. You tuck everything under. Shoulder blades separate into cat. And then relax into tabletop. Now the next thing that we are here, we're going to go, it's called into puppy pose, which is your knees below your hips and your arms now straight in front of you. And again, your chest goes towards the mat and your forehead goes towards the mat. Maybe it's all the way down, maybe it's more, maybe it's less. And you're stretching another part of your back, sort of the middle part. You're not hurting yourself. You're breathing into that. Len, thank you. Come here. Come here. Apparently that's puppy pose. Now, we're going to go onto our forearms for a forearm plank. You can keep your knees down to where they are right now, or you can go up on your toes, separate your shoulder blades again. Your hips are about the same size as your shoulders. You're pushing away from the ground, and you've got some nice stability here. Everything's engaged. Your butt is sort of tucked under, so that engages the front of your body. And you keep breathing in and out through your nose. Now, on your next inhale in, you're going to inhale and drop your hips down to the ground. And we've turned into Sphinx pose with our elbows below our shoulders. You want to keep your butt flexed. If this is hard on your back, you can move your legs further apart. If you want more of a stretch, you can go up to a seal pose. And seal poses generally straighten your arms. You can push away from the ground like a seal. You want to keep your shoulders away from your ears. And this again should be super comfortable. You're not tensing your neck. I can prove it by how I'm moving it around. Breathing in and out slowly through your nose. And then last inhale in, wherever you are, relax down to the mat. Just rock your hips back and forth, shake them a little bit. That just sort of makes sure they don't get locked in place. Maybe you don't need to do that. Now, we go into what's called half frog pose. So lots of animal poses. Your left arm is on a 45-degree angle at the top of your mat. Your right heel comes up and you pull your heel towards your butt. But as you're pulling your heel towards your butt, you're pushing out of your left arm. So you almost got a little twist going on as well. And again, you don't want to, there's a lot of leverage here. So you just want to pull to the point where you're getting a nice stretch in your quad. Last inhale in, release that foot back down to the ground. Your left arm goes out straight beside you. Your right leg bends again, and we twist over for what some people call broken wing. And you get a twist on your back, and you get a stretch on your shoulder. Last inhale in, and you roll back over. Shake out your hips again, and this time your right arm is on a 45-degree angle to your mat. Your left leg bends, and you pull your left heel to your butt, and you push up out of your right elbow. And each inhale in, you might get a little bit more space, but there's a lot of leverage here. So you're not trying to push, you just want to feel a good stretching sensation in your quad, and a little twist in your back, and a little push on your shoulder. Now you're going to release that left foot back down to the ground. Your right arm goes straight out beside you. Your left leg bends again. And you do this broken wing on the other side. A nice little stretch in your back. You get a nice stretch on your shoulder. And one last inhale in. Exhale, roll on back. Now, from here, we're going to go up to a normal plank. You can either go back to that child's pose, which is with your toes together and your knees apart, and you can push backwards, or you can go on your toes, lift your knees away from the mat or the floor, put your arms beside you with your elbows tucked in towards your ribs, and just slowly push up to a full plank. Your feet are at a hip distance apart. Your fingers are pointing towards the front of the mat. Your hips are about the same height as your shoulders. Your front is engaged. Your shoulder blades are pushed apart, and nothing's too tensed on your neck. Now from here, we're going to go back to our downward dog. And the downward dog is all about pushing away, having a straight line from your wrist to your elbows, to your shoulders, to your hips. So I need to bend my knees to do that, to keep it straight. You might not need to. And once you get that straight line, you then want to straighten your legs as much as you can while maintaining that straight line. You just want to hold this here. Now on your next inhale, walk your feet forward to the front of the mat or your space, and that will put you into a forward fold. And let's give gravity a hand here. Hold on to your elbows and let yourself fall forward. Maybe your legs are bent a little bit, and then as you get comfortable, you straighten your legs a bit more. Now put your hands behind your back, interlace them, and let your arms fall over. And this becomes a seal variation of this forward fold. Let gravity do its work. Then inhale, slowly let your arms fall. Let them touch the ground. And inhale to a halfway lift. Your hands on your shins, and there your back is nice and straight. And exhale, you fold. Inhale to that halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And then into a tight ball. And we inhale our way up to standing with our hips out and our arms above our head. And then back to a prayer position here with your feet shoulder width apart, your thumbs touching your sternum, and they're about the same height as your elbow. And you're very balanced. And then inhale with your hands going to the sky. And then if you can, from here, I want you to follow your hands down into a squat. And try to keep your back nice and straight. Get this to a nice stable position. A little bit of pressure from your triceps on your knees will help stabilize you a little bit. Nothing stressed here. And this may be not something that you can do already. That's okay. You could always go and kneel if you'd like. Inhale. Put your hands behind you if you need to, like I do, and back onto your onto your butt. Just reach forward, and if you can, grab onto your hands and slowly roll back, grab onto your feet rather, and roll back into what we call happy baby pose. You might not be able to do this. You might want to grab behind your quads, or you might want to grab on your shins, or you might want to grab on the outside of your feet. And you want your knees to fall into your armpits. But you can also just squeeze your hands. We're coming to the end here. This has got a nice hip opener. You can stretch one foot, stretch both feet, rock back and forth and side to side if you'd like to massage your lower back. And then from here, put your knees into your chest, give a good squeeze, and you're going to roll over to your right side with your knees together. This is called a supine twist, where your left arm goes behind you straight if you can, and you want to look over at your left arm. But we're not straining anything. We're letting your body fall open. And on your next inhale, bring your knees back up to your chest. Squeeze them into your chest as far as you can. Put your knees together, and this time they'll go to the left side. Your right arm goes flat out behind you if you can. And you look out over your right arm, and you let your body just sort of twist and fall open. Inhale. Again, bring your knees up together, squeeze them into your chest. Give them an extra good squeeze there. And then put your feet out to the corners of your mat, of your space, into what we call corpses pose. So you're on your heels, your legs sort of fall open. You tuck your shoulder blades underneath your back so that your hands face the sky. Everything relaxes. You can keep breathing through your nose if you'd like, or you can just relax your breath entirely and go to however you want to breathe. And you, if you can, stay here for a little while. Relax, feel your body, let your body completely release. And welcome to 2025. We'll see you in the next video, and I hope that you feel better this year.
Always talk to your healthcare professional before starting a new regime. If you experience pain, discomfort, or dizziness, slow down or stop. These videos will become easier each day, but if it doesn't feel right today, go slower or move to another video. Listen to your body.